Hi everyone. Today I'm going to teach you how to install Arch Linux using the archinstall utility that is included. So this is a very simple way to do this process that's normally not as simple. So once you're booted into Arch Linux from your USB or CD, type in archinstall. This is assuming you're using a wired connection. For wireless connections, you have to take a few extra steps, as noted where it says for Wi-Fi, authenticate to the wireless network using the IWCTL utility. We're just going to run archinstall though, because we can connect since we're on a wired connection. So our language is already set to English, so we're good there. Keyboard is set to US, so we're good there. Mirror region. We'll want to set this so our things download faster. United States. You'll select it, press enter. And we're good. United States. So we're good for language and encoding, so we're going to skip down to drives. This is our actual drive here, so we're going to select this. Spacebar, enter. So that's the one drive that we're going to install to. Disk layout. Now this, it's a lot, but all you have to do is this. Wipe selected drives, BTRFS, yes, yes, and you're good. Encryption password. If you want to encrypt your drive, you can set one here. I'm not going to. Bootloader grub, that's fine. Swap true. Hostname Arch Linux, you can change this if you want. So hostname is just basically like your it's not your computer name, but it is essentially something like that. It doesn't really matter. Root password is your password for admin access. You'll want to set this. Then you make a user account. Add a user, type in your name. Make a password. Select yes, we are a super user. Confirm and exit. Profile. We're making a desktop, so we want to select desktop. I use GNOME. Audio, we want Pipewire. Kernel, Linux, we just want the normal Linux kernel. Additional packages, so if you want to install anything extra, you'll type it in here. So I want to install Discord package. I want to install Firefox package, and I want to install Steam package. Discord, Firefox, and Steam are the names in the repository, so it's that simple. Network configuration. In our case, because we're using GNOME, we need to use Network Manager, okay? Time zone is not UTC, our time zone is New York. Oh, and just so you know how I'm skipping to things easily, I'm pressing /, like it says, press / to search, then typing. That's all I'm doing. Automatic time sync, yes. Optional repositories, we want both. And that's it, then we're installing. Now this process can take a while, because it's going to have to download some things. And format in our case, our fake drive, but in your case, it may be a real drive. I'm using a virtual machine for this tutorial. I'm also going to show you my post-install setup, how I get things looking and working the way that I like. This is not only going to be useful for you, but also for me, because if I ever need to reinstall for some reason, I can refer to this to get everything how I like it. So now we're downloading the Linux kernel. As you can see, Linux 6.0.5.arch. That's a relatively large download in comparison to most of the things we're downloading, because it's like 200 megabytes-ish. We'll just wait. Linux kernel is done. Now the firmware is going to download. Also a relatively large file because this contains drivers and stuff. I assume. I don't know. It's also around 200 megabytes-ish. A little lower. Firmware is now done downloading. We're moving on to some smaller stuff now. As you can see, it says we're already 66% done out of the total, so that's just to show you how small the rest of these files are. And during this process, you don't have to do anything. You can get up and leave if you feel like it and let it go. You may encounter a download error, and if you do, you'll get some red text. It'll just ask if you want to retry. Type in the letter Y and press enter when that happens, and you're good. It'll retry, and then I'll download the files again. Now we're in really small files, so this will zoom. And these are all the core components of the operating system that's downloading now. This is stuff that goes basically underneath everything, stuff you never see for the most part. But it's all stuff that makes the operating system function, so it is important. And there it goes, it's all done. Now it's installing those packages we just downloaded. Almost done. Now it's starting and enabling services that are going to run with the operating system. This is just moving files to where they will live on the actual OS install from the install medium. So it's essentially just copying stuff over from your flash drive or whatever. Some of that stuff might actually be in memory too. So this is our network manager. We need this for connecting to Wi-Fi or Ethernet via the GNOME UI. And now it's going to install some additional packages. These are the desktop environment, graphics drivers, network manager, desktop compositor, and some various other stuff. It's all desktop related stuff here. Network manager, almost done. Now it's installing our audio stuff. We chose Pipewire for audio. Pipewire, ALSA. And here's the packages we chose: Discord, Firefox, and Steam. Firefox will download first. And just like that, we have Firefox downloaded. Discord is downloading next. Discord's relatively small as well. believe Steam is the biggest out of these three apps. I think Steam comes in at like 100 something megabytes. LLVM. So there are some component stuff that will download alongside these apps if you choose to install them. Maybe Steam's not that big of an app. Maybe it only downloads the big stuff when you run it for the first time. Because it does download like 100 megabytes when you run it. The actual Steam installer might be quite small. That's Mesa, that's our graphics driver downloading now. There's Steam. Yes, the Steam installer is only 3 megabytes. Nice. Okay, so the rest of these are going to be fairly small. So let's zoom through these. And when we're done, it's going to ask us a question, which we're going to say no to. Well, it's got to install these packages still too, so it'll be a second. Now we're installing. Optional dependencies for Steam. Okay, now it's installing text editor stuff. We have Vim here, we have Nano, which is what I like to use. There's also wireless stuff for some reason. I guess it's just various X apps. There's some more video related stuff. Video and display drivers and apps. Now GNOME, that's our desktop environment coming in now. This is quite a big download, so it'll take a minute. But notice I haven't had to press anything on the keyboard in quite a while, so this is just basically all automated for us. Fairly simple. If you can install Windows, there's a good chance you can make your way through this installation. Not as graphically fancy as a Windows installer, but definitely just as simple functionally. Okay, we're about a quarter of the way done with these downloads now. This is our whole desktop environment coming in right now, so it's going to be a bit of time. But no big deal. Yeah, it'll happen. Noto fonts emoji. So you do kind of get some emoji support out of the box, but it's not great. I'm not going to go into installing fonts for emoji support, but that is something you may have to do. Yeah, we're already 60% there. Lots of files to download. It's about 5 in the morning for me right now. That's why I'm being quiet. I also already recorded this video, but I did not have commentary, nor did I have my avatar, and the resolution was bad, so I decided I was just going to redo it instead of dubbing it. So this is all happening in real time, baby. Real time Arch Linux install with Akiko, your favorite. Okay, we just gotta install these packages now. Here we go. We're flying. I get not wanting to upgrade to Windows 11 because that's something I refuse to do. So this will be good for those kind of people who just don't want to go that route. There are other easier to use Linux distros, but with those come, you know, the drawbacks of being easier to use as well. Less freedom. Slower updates. Would you like to see? Here's our question. We're gonna say no. Now we type reboot, press enter, and we're gonna boot straight into Arch Linux. Here's our bootloader. I'm just gonna wait for it. Now we're booting. Yeah, here we go. Let's go. And here we are. So, one thing I'm going to recommend, you do not have to do this necessarily, but I have problems with Wayland, which is the compositor GNOME uses by default. So we're going to Xorg here. It's the bottom option. Type in your password you made when you were installing, and there's our desktop we are in. This is my second time installing Arch tonight, but it appears to be working. We should have our apps that we installed: Firefox, Discord, and Steam. There we are. Okay, so the very first thing you probably want to do, now that you are in Arch Linux, with your GNOME desktop, presumably if you followed my directions, set up extensions. Okay, this is your extensions list for GNOME. This will have everything that you are going to use. I want user themes enabled, so I'm going to turn that on. Has everything you're going to use to make the desktop look the way you want it to. So, let's launch Firefox, our browser of choice. If you use something else, that's fine, but I will judge you. Okay, now we want... Hold on, it's being a little slow. GNOME extensions. We're going to just type it in. We have to install the browser extension. Boop. Continue to installation, add. Then we want to go to this wiki page. This tells us how to install the GNOME browser connector. Now there are two ways here to do it. You can use the AUR. This is the Arch user repository way, but we're going to do it manually. We're going to take these steps. So, terminal, as you can see right here, terminal. We want to type git clone. See, we do not have git, so we have to install it. Sudo pacman -s git, and let's get base developer package as well. This is everything we need. Just press enter. Press enter again. You don't have to type the Y because the Y is the default selection. You can just press enter and it will assume you said yes. Okay, so now we can run that command but we tried to run before. Git clone. See, we're good. Now we're running the second command in the list, cd GNOME browser connector. So now we're in the folder for GNOME browser connector. Make pkg si. See, I didn't have to type that Y, I just did it by habit. Once this is done, we restart our browser. We'll want to reopen this tab. Oh, I lost it. Extensions.gnome.org. That's what we need. Okay, here's what we want. We want dash to panel. And yes, I do make my GNOME look quite a bit like Windows. You'll have to forgive me for that, Sen. Dash to panel. Arc menu. That's our start menu. We want no annoyance. Gets rid of some annoying notifications and stuff. And we want app indicator, no space. App indicator. That's all we need right now. So we have all our plugins. See, here's our start menu we just made. Isn't that nice? So first we want dash to panel settings. We're gonna go through these settings really fast. Okay, ready? Panel thickness down, 32, because I don't like a big panel. I want date on the right side. So it's on the right now, right here. Style, app icon mark. Put down to 2. Adding we put up to 6. Sometimes 8 looks good. It depends on your resolution. On this VM, 6 looks good. Running app indicator, we're going to turn this down to 1 pixel. See, that's the bar that's underneath your running apps here. We want ungroup applications in my case. I'm going to unpin these favorited apps. Going to pin Firefox actually while we're at it. I always have my browser pinned right here. Boop. Pin to dash. There we go. Disable show overview on startup. We want that on. I think everything else is good. So that's our settings for this. Oh, we want applications button off. Yeah. Then we go into arc menu settings. Ready? Arc menu settings, right here in the start menu. Display arc menu on all panels. Turn that on. I think that's it for this menu. Layouts, if you want a specific layout without having to set it up yourself, go for it. Theme. Do you want this because this is where you set border radius, so I can make it a square instead of rounded. See, square edges. We like that. Alright, next. Customize. Ready? Alright, override rise. We want no rise. This will put the start menu right in our corner, right where we want it. Okay. Vertical separator on. That makes these lines appear. This. I think that's it for this menu. We click this arrow for the next menu. Browse icons. We want the Arch icon. We are on Arch, so let's use that icon. Very nice, huh? Arch icon. Foreground color. Yeah, we don't care about any of this stuff, so we're going to skip. All of this is just to add extra buttons to your menu and stuff. So we don't need any of that. I want to disable new apps tracker, so it won't tell me when I install a new app and it's new in the menu. So we don't care about that. I know what I installed. Okay, and that's it. So now Arc menu is set up how I like it. Go. You can go by category game, so we have Steam. Internet, we should have Discord in here. Discord will now have an app indicator icon once it's done updating, since we installed app indicator support. There it is. It's very nice. Very convenient. Alright, we're going to exit Discord because I'm not logging into Discord right now. Now there is one thing I did not show you yet. We need to open something called tweaks. Then go to title bars. We want maximize and minimize buttons. So now we have these buttons. And once that's done, you have a fully solid install of Arch Linux with the GNOME desktop. Got everything you need to go for it. This is going to be a very solid operating system. Your software store is right here. Is also where you can check for software updates when you click this little refresh button. All my software is up to date. You can install whatever you need from here for the most part. Anything you can't install from here, you can install from the Arch user repository. I will show you how to install Yay because that is very important. So we're just gonna go. Oop. See, we can do all this in one single command right here on the Yay GitHub. This is to compile it yourself, however. So if you do not want to compile it yourself, you can just get the binary version. Let's go for the binary version in our case here. So we're going to open a terminal. Going to paste this. So we have git now, so we should be fine. cd yay bin. That's the binary. Make pkg -si. And type in your password and install. So Yay is for installing things from the Arch user repository. So you'll do Yay -S, that's for sync, I believe. Let's go to the Arch user repository and download something. I want Yaru colors. Yes, Yaru colors con theme. We'll remove make dependencies after install because we won't need them again. Diffs to show, just press enter. Proceed with installation, just press enter. The capital letter means it's selected by default. So we're downloading an icon theme. I will show you exactly where to apply this icon theme as well. Then we'll wrap it up. I hope my tutorial was somewhat helpful to some of you. It's not that intimidating when you know what to do. Also, we can do this. If you don't like this, you don't have your dark theme, you know what? Let's just set a dark theme. Let's make this easier. Oh, I didn't set left super key for arc menu. Check this out. We want menu hotkey, left super key. So now it'll open our start menu here. Now we're going to type in settings. We're going to go to appearance right here. We're going to go to dark theme. Boom. Our terminal did not inherit that dark theme while it was running. That's okay. Here we go. Let's close the store because we're not using it right now. Actually, I'll show you how to use it. Software. So if you know what you want, you just search, click, and then click install. It's going to install from FlatHub. I prefer to not use FlatHub, so I would use Pacman instead. I'll show you how to use Pacman to install something in just a moment. We're going to install VLC from Pacman. I already showed you how, but I didn't explain what I was doing, so I'll do it the right way. But first, we're going to want okay, it's finishing up here. Get that Yaru icon theme installed. Okay, it's building with Ninja. Very quick. Ninja is very fast. I'm getting the sound theme too. I just downloaded the icon theme. Maybe it installs everything. I do like the Yaru theme though, so I do install it pretty much every time. A lot of this is just waiting, just like the install earlier, installing the OS. It's a lot of waiting. It's not that scary because you're not doing a whole lot. BC, since I set my hostname to Arch earlier, it says Akiko at Arch here. That's what that is. That's my hostname there. Okay, it's installing finally. Extracting Yaru colors. Source is ready. This might just give me all the Yaru colors themes. I was expecting just the icon pack, but okay, so now we have our theme. We're gonna go into tweaks. Appearance. Yep, it gave us everything. Yaru purple is what I use. It did not give us the shell theme, which is actually kind of important because that's how you get like these icons. But that's okay. That's okay. You can get that manually if you want it. Now we want VLC. So we're going to do super user do, that's sudo, space, pacman, space, hyphen, capital S, space, VLC. Just like that, just press enter and you're good. We're installing VLC, and everything VLC requires to run properly. Just like that. It should be a very quick install. VLC is not that heavy. So now we type VLC. Oh, that didn't work. There it is. It took a second to show up in the desktop entry. There it is. That easy. Don't even have to open a browser to install your favorite apps. So, there you have it. We have everything we need for a very, very good start on Arch. And we just shut down. And you're good. You do whatever you want from there. I hope this was helpful to someone. I am a perfect example of someone who is not happy with the way Windows is going. And I just wanted to share this so that if that also describes you, you have something you can do about it. This is a solid enough replacement for Windows at this point that I don't mind recommending it. Enjoy. Goodbye.